With every update, Blender is not only getting faster, but is also getting a lot of new features and improvements. The developers are allowing talented artists to push their limits by creating more projects with better tools. In today's video, we're gonna take a look at some great character animation projects made using Blender. But before we do that, talking about animation, let me take a moment and talk about this training called Dragon Rider 3D Character Creation by the amazing artist Nikolai Naidinov. If you have been on the fence about character creation or you are just starting your journey, this can be beneficial for you. The instructor is an artist with 15 years of experience in the game development industry, and he worked on a number of online courses before with around 15,000 students throughout his courses about ZBrush, Blender, character anatomy for male and female characters, and so on. This course is aimed at intermediate Blender users, and the project will be solely done in Blender from start to finish. Throughout these 15 plus lessons that span more than 9 hours of real-time footage, Nikolai will guide you through the process of creating stylized characters, and you will do that from start to finish. And it is structured in 4 chapters, which include modeling, sculpting, painting, and finally posing. If you are interested, you will find the necessary links in the description. We'll start with this great fan art of Uzui Tengen's epic entrance scene as it was remade fully in 3D, and that was of course using Blender. I really hope this fan art gets more visibility because it is really interesting even though it is not perfect. The 3D model is detailed and faithful to the original character from the show. This includes the anatomy, the accessories, and all the way to the movements of facial expressions. Not too realistic, but not too flat either. The artist recreated the perfect balance to convey the same vibes as the anime while adding another dimension. We can agree that he nailed the details, especially when it comes to the cleavers, and he even gave it the right amber color, symbolizing the sound breathing. This is gonna be great if he can create a full animation of this style. Likely you have already came across this short animation from CG Boost. It was made in the context of the Cubic Worlds project, in which he aims to tell stories in short periods of time by keeping the animations look very pretty. The family trip scene features 4 animated characters who represent his actual family members and himself, as you can see them in this cubic style. He used smart techniques in the making of this project, and he showcased everything in detail during the breakdown video he posted on his channel. Everything was hand animated, including the car animation and the broken parts of the road, in addition to the mechanical and folded arms, which were very time consuming to animate. From the Blender Studio, we have a walkthrough of the short character animation making of the snow bar scene made by Rick. He used the snow character rig to stress test his facial rig controls. In this recap video, he explains everything about how he built up the animation from analyzing references, blocking out the animation, smoothing out the blocking, and lip syncing, in addition to the final tweaks for polishing his work. You will learn so much about animation by listening to tips and tricks from Rick, and what to avoid during animating a character in order to avoid these mistakes. The Snow Rig is available to download. You can grab it to learn and improve your skills of animation. The concept art behind this stunning character presentation was made by Korean artist Hino Caulfield Ju. The 3D interpretation by Nathan was shown in a short cinematic of his final project for the intermediate term of Think Tank. It turned out to be one of the most appreciated character designs by the community on our list. The presentation is indeed pretty cool and cinematic, in addition to the original music by Nathan that perfectly matches the overall vibe of the character and her uniform. The artist used Blender along ZBrush, in addition to Substance Painter and Marvelous Designer. For the music he used Ableton Live and DaVinci Resolve for editing. Now we have this Raptor project that was made by a very talented artist at Embark Studios whose name is Pontus Raymond. He usually creates environments for AAA video games such as the Battlefront franchise or Battlefield 5. According to him, this project started as a small project for learning Blender by modeling a Space Marine, which became a Warhammer 40k fan-made short movie. This one-man project was entirely made inside of Blender and rendered using Eevee, making it very technical. The fact that the artist achieved this realistic lighting and texturing in a real-time engine and this amount of detail in a short period of time is just incredible. He edited the audio and composed the ambient music himself in Logic Pro X, and he did the post-production in After Effects. Next we have this short, which was a test run for a project that Sung-Young Park, a self-taught 3D artist, is planning to work on. Everything was made in vanilla Blender, which was sort of a personal restriction that the artist had to follow. So everything was created from scratch using native Blender tools only, from character sculpting to retopology, UV unwrapping to texture painting, in addition to hair particles and materials. For the facial rig part, he relied on some tutorials, whereas for skinning, he mostly used the mesh deform method with simple cage meshes. All the nature assets were also made from scratch in native Blender, including the grass, trees, rocks, and the landscape elements, including the background mountains, were generated using the Ant Landscape native Blender add-on. After being done with the character animation, he added physics to the clothes and hair along with the collision mesh to make them react to the wind and the body. Finally, the scene was separated into 6 render layers, which then were composed together in the compositor with some color correction in addition to effects to give it that unique vibe. The artist explained each step of his workflow in the behind the scenes posted on Blender Nation. This one is from Hoya Cho, another Korean 3D artist that loves Blender. He made a short animation of a realistic character wearing a Korean traditional attire, the Hanbok, which represents the title of this project. Even though I found the animation a little bit slow, the overall quality is impressive. It is clear that the artist is used to modeling realistic characters. He also does amazing short animations of simple characters on his YouTube channel. But this project was his first attempt at combining both animation and realistic character modeling, which totally deserves its place on our list. We can't talk about character animation in Blender without mentioning the Alive animation course by Perik. He posted several teaser videos, or more precisely 4 teasers in which he showcases some of the things you will learn, and the animations are just amazing. Starting with the classic bouncing ball animation, to a squirrel's work cycle animation, in addition to what we are most interested in, which is the breathtaking character animation of the superhero character Trident, in addition to a mecha war machine model rigged and armed to the teeth in a badass battle scene. Both the 3rd and 4th teasers feature a superhero character executed an excellent combo with bare hands or a punching bag and showing off his weapons with exaggerated movements with a bit of a comic style in it, which was just very impressive. I hope you found this video inspiring. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You can also check some of our previous videos similar to this one. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.